Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Namaste Center. It's a beautiful day here in Hendersonville. It's, I believe, the 10th of February, and 2013, so all is well. So just a few things I wanted to talk about. I was, my talks, a lot of times I really don't know what I'm going to speak on until a day or two before because it just hasn't been disclosed yet. I really don't know. So I'm always amazed, like, when ministers can do their talks like for over a year. I'm like, oh, and this week I'm like, wow, that is amazing to me. And that they can do that because like I said, I didn't know till last night what I was going to talk about. But occasionally it'll pop in a week or two ahead, but very rarely. And of course, guess what I'm going to talk about? Make plans, God laughs. And of course, a healed mind doesn't plan. And so it's, so there you go. So I'm really healed, that's it. Yeah, whatever. And you saw the meditation I chose, right? I wonder what that was about. Letting those grievances block my light. Yeah, so, because I had a grievance coming in here today. So, that's right. And I had a bone to pick. So, but here I am, I'm happy, and make plans, God laughs. So a couple of things, we had our beautiful ministers conference yesterday. It was truly amazing. It was, I love it when things exceed our expectations, and it really, really did. It went perfect, from the venue to everyone who showed up, to the sharing and the heart connection, and just the day was perfect. And of course, ending in the renewal of the vows, and then we had a little champagne reception and chocolate. It was all good. And and bubbles, we had bubbles. So it was a fantastic, really heartfelt day. And we had something very interesting, enlightening. I think people actually commented the most on this. And that was, there was 25 of us. I think there was 25, 27, something like that. And what we did was each person checked in, and just because many of us don't know each other. There's a lot of ministers that don't know each other because this was a Carolinas chapter meeting, and we went around the room, and it took about 3 hours. And each minister had an opportunity to share really anything they wanted about themselves. And it was so amazing because the stories and the light and the commitment and to their ministries, and I know Ken and Lloyd commented this morning, that their faith has been restored in ministers because it wasn't, it was just everybody was in surrender mode. It wasn't like there was an agenda. It didn't feel like, yeah, rah, rah, go get them or any of this. It was just, I'm here to serve, and that was the theme of the day. I know Judy made a comment yesterday and said that, of all the ministers that went around, it wasn't about, how we can, no one really talked about the business or the money and this and that. Not to say that that's not a part of living and a good thing, but it was so much more heartfelt. I think that everybody was moving, had chosen to express, who they were from their heart. And it was really a beautiful experience. And I do feel and sense that, every time I'm here with all of you, because I think we've all sort of hit the bumps in the road. We've been up and we've been down. But, the good news is that, we get to the point where it's like, just take a breath and relax. And so it's, we've always, maybe you have or maybe you haven't heard the statement, make plans and God laughs. It's true, because so often, have you all ever been in planning mode and you make all these plans and nothing works out? So so much of the motivational movement is, make a plan and do everything you can to make it happen. And it even goes on to say that if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail, basically. And the only plan that and I've done that, believe me, I've done it, and I've made things happen, and it's like, oops, not what I was wanting at all. No, take that one back, please. That didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So we really think we know what our best interests are, but we don't. And that's where I've come to, and so many people I talk to, it's kind of like, well, we played that game, we've been there, done that. but I don't, as the Course says, I don't know what anything including this is for. And so it's all about surrender, being led. It doesn't mean that we just sit back and eat bonbons and let things just fall in our lap, even though that might be one way to do it, I don't know. But because I have to say, in many ways, I'm doing more now than I've done in prior years. I've got a very busy schedule between here and Florida. I'm in the car, we're driving up and down 95, 700 miles here, there, get down there, next day after 700 miles, I go in and start teaching an all-day class, get back up here, conference. So it's not like I'm just sitting back and saying, oh, okay, just be still and let God just do it. But I'm coming from a place of being led, and I'm choosing that. I'm not saying I'm always there, and I will say that when I walked in this morning, I was pissed. Okay, I was not, and I dropped an F-bomb once or twice, and I was not a happy camper when I walked in here, to say the least. But once I just went around, got things done, and I find myself now recognizing, wow, do you want to stay there? And it doesn't mean that we don't deal with these situations or handle them, but I was like, okay, I can choose peace. I'm a big girl. I know better than this. And of course, the meditation I chose was actually not, I didn't choose it after the fact. I chose it last night. I was actually going through the book, and I said, that would make a nice meditation. So see, God already knew what I was coming into. So that's right. So see, that was a miracle. But I really believe that. I think that if we can just get out of the way and be led, that it's amazing what happens. Truly, it's amazing. The synchronicity and the flow of life is beyond anything we could ever concoct in our own mind. I know that as far as buying a house, our home, we love our home in Flat Rock. We didn't know where we wanted to be. Of course, you move into a new area. There's tons of homes here, tons of communities, and where do you begin to look? You're brand new to the area. What do you do? Well, we were pretty quickly led to exactly this house. And as a matter of fact, I think we looked at 3 or 4 houses the day before, and the next day this one was under construction, and I said to Ellen, I found our house. And she's like, no, we got to look at everything on the market. And I said, no, I found it. And she, of course, came up and agreed. And after being here 7 years, I can't think of another place I'd rather be. But it was, it doesn't have to be a struggle. My friend Susan, who many of you know, the tall tennis gal, she's lives in Charlotte, and God, when I was in real estate, I said I would have hated nothing more than to be her realtor. She's like, I think we looked at 400 houses. I was like, oh my God, before she made a decision. I couldn't even imagine. But it was like everything had to, she had to make sure she was getting the best one and the best deal. And that's another way of doing it, but to me it seems exhausting. And it's like, if we just get out of our own way, we'll be led exactly to the perfect place. And that is continuing to prove itself and show itself to me day after day and everyone I talk to. We got past all the drama around 2012 and whatever that was all about. Well, what we did was 12/21 to me was just a big release, grounding the light, all those souls coming together in love and choosing to move forth from a new consciousness. And I feel it, and I'm feeling the lightness and seeing it and experiencing it with so many people I come into contact with. It's really, things have shifted, and it jazzes me a whole lot. In Florida, another thing that worked out beautifully, A Course in Miracles. I was looking for somewhere to do a Course in Miracles class. Put it out on Facebook. And my friend Diane at Unity in Jupiter said, oh, do it here, do it here. So, that was another divine thing. So we had lunch last week. It was a beautiful connection again. We hadn't seen each other in years. And to sit here and to make that connection was really beautiful. And all because of that one little thing. Okay, I don't know where I'm going to do this. I just basically said, if I'm going to do A Course in Miracles, show me where to do it, what's available. And you know that's the way the universe is really set up to work for us. I totally am getting it. Do you all sense that at all in your own lives? You know, it's about letting go of struggle and making it happen. I read a Facebook posting last night. There was some conference in Florida, and apparently the girl who was leading it came out in a coffin, carried in a coffin, and basically said, you know, don't wait till you die to live your dreams. I mean, that was her message. And I was like, wow, you know. And I was like, or something like that. I was like, oh my God, a coffin, that's wild. Yeah. And so I promise you I won't be coming in any coffins. But I thought, well, that's one way to get your message out there. But it was, there again, it's, you know, that whole thing. I remember going to a seminar. You know, you got to do and you got to produce, and you know, you don't need to sleep. I'll sleep when I die. And I'm like, well, you know, that gets tiring. I tried that. And I'm not dying. I didn't try that, but I did try the not sleeping and, you know, working. And I was so pleased when the Dalai Lama said that one of the highest forms of meditation is sleep. I'm like, God, took all the guilt off of my sleep. Because everyone's like, you sleep too much. I'm like, oh, really? And now I can just, oh, yeah, I love this bed. And so I had no guilt with sleeping. But, you know, one of the quotes from A Course in Miracles that's so wonderful, it's about patience. And it says, infinite patience brings immediate results. And I know that Diane and I were talking about patience, and they have this beautiful property in Jupiter, and they just have this finished. I think they're dedicating it today, a labyrinth that she saw there when they moved into the church 6 years ago. She said, that's where it's going to be. And rather than pushing through it and forcing it to happen, she talked last Sunday and she said, well, the fellow who was supposed to put this in hadn't shown up yet. And this guy is meticulous. It's one of the most beautiful labyrinths you've ever seen. But there again, it was a lesson in patience. And infinite patience brings immediate results. If we would just quit trying to push and force, maybe it wasn't the best time to have the labyrinth 3, 4, 5 years ago, and today is a perfect time for the dedication. You know, there is I believe, a divine flow in life that really is there to support us if we allow that to happen. Now, the big word, this Marianne Williamson book, I know Terry said he started it and he's almost done with it reading it, and we're all really jazzed about it. And her whole premise in that book is surrender, you know, thy will be done, you know, Holy Spirit, you know my heart. Show me, you know, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? Instead of giving your shopping list to God and saying, here, I want this. There is a bigger plan out there than something we can even imagine. And that's where, you know, the surrender and the letting go allows that to happen. So, and I've thought about, you know, well, what are we surrendering to? And I think by programming, I'm always looking and pointing to God as if God is out here and in the sky. That's still a program and an automatic reaction I have when I talk about God. It's like my eyes go up, my hand goes up, and God. And really, what I'm surrendering to is the God within, which is who I am, the light and love of God within me. And so, you know, I'm choosing, oh, see God, I'm choosing, I'm choosing to go inside when I'm expressing that. But I know that we all have within us that divine spark. And if we just allow ourselves to go inside, be led, be still, and know that we are God, and that we surrender to that, then what emerges from that is our divine plan unfolding. And there's a couple of quotes here that I'd like to share with you, and a couple of lessons. Here we go. This is something interesting too. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. First of all, lesson 25. And it is from A Course in Miracles, and it is, I do not know what anything is for. And it's you know, we think that it goes on to say, you perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. These goals have nothing to do with your own best interest because the ego is not you. This false identification makes you incapable of understanding what anything is for. As a result, you are bound to misuse it. When you believe this, you will try to withdraw the goals you have assigned to the world instead of attempting to reinforce them. So, you know, all these goals, they're really ego-driven. You know, we don't know what anything is for. The Course goes on to say, I don't perceive my best interest. You know, we think that this is our best interest, but there's always an ego investment. There's often an ego investment involved in that. And there again, it goes on to say here, the mantra is, you know, to ask yourself, I don't know what this chair is for. I don't know what this book is for. I don't know what this phone is for. And if we just say that to ourselves, we're beginning the process of letting go and surrendering. Because you know, the problem is we value the intellect so much. We've been told, you know, oh, the intellect's good. How many books have you read this week? And how many degrees do you have on your wall? And blah, 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 and all of this. And not to say that it's a negative or not a good thing, but it's the meaning and the value we attach to it. So what this is suggesting is to say, I don't know what anything is for. I'm willing to surrender everything and be led by that consciousness, that way of being. And then all of a sudden you see the world differently. You see the synchronicity. There are no mistakes in anyone that you encounter. The other day, just an example, we're in El Paso restaurant. We run into this cute gal that we know from another business. And it was exactly someone that I had talked to someone in Florida about that needed to get in touch. I'm like, oh, I've been meaning to call you. She goes, oh yeah, well here, blah, blah. So it was just like a natural flow. So, you know, it's kind of like, wow, that's cool. That's like a great magnet, you know. Everything is being attracted to us. That is the true law of attraction, if you ask me. Now, the last lesson I wanted to go over here just real quickly is this one, and it's, if I defend myself, I am attacked. Who would defend himself unless he thought he was attacked? And then he says, if we see ourselves as attacked, then we find need to be defensive. There's a line in the Course, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. You know, the defense, what's that do? That puts up that energy and separation. Stay away from me. But if I see there's nothing to defend except by my ego's judgment because I don't know what anything is for, then it just dispels all that energy around it. And you know what's interesting is, as I said, I was a little miffed this morning, and I'm choosing to, you know, immediately I was like, Ellen, you got to get on the phone with me and we're going to call as soon as service is over, and I'm going to and I was going to go there, and now it's kind of like, okay, I'm still going to have the conversation, but I can't wait to see what Spirit has to offer. I'm so excited to see how this unfolds and it's exciting. I don't have a plan, I don't have an agenda. I've chosen to allow this person into my heart. I don't want to keep that grievance, keep the separation. And so it's exciting to see what the plan unfolds. Because the other, you know, I felt like I was attacked, and so I had to defend myself, and I was going to attack back, and all these crazy thoughts go through the mind. Does that sound familiar at all? And so now it's kind of like, wow, this is cool. That was my sister, and just teaching me something. I did at least say this morning, well, I wonder what I need to learn from this. And but it's always, there's only one lesson, and it's always forgiveness. Now, the last, the statement I started with today is actually a healed mind doesn't plan. And this is, I think, our highest state of consciousness. And what it suggests and what it says here, it says a healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to the wisdom that is not its own. It waits until it's been taught what should be done and then proceeds to do it. It does not depend upon itself for anything except its adequacy to fulfill the plans assigned to it. It is secure in certainty that obstacles cannot impede its progress to accomplishment of any goal that serves the greater plan established for the good of everyone. And that's where it all comes back to. Our ego mind, my ego mind wanted to immediately fight back, be separate, condemn, judge, be angry, and I recognized it, took the breath, opened up the meditation that was chosen for me last night, and now I see, okay, the Spirit is choosing, if I allow it, to resolve this and bring peace to everyone. Whatever that looks like. And I don't even know what it's going to look like. And it's not about an agenda. And it doesn't mean always saying yes. And it doesn't mean to say that everything, yeah, that's okay. It doesn't mean that at all. But it means that my goal, my choice is to resolve this in peace and harmony. And whatever we encounter, it's up to us to make that choice. A healed mind doesn't plan. The world doesn't reinforce that. It's great to plan. And yeah, maybe in the planning sense, does that mean, of course, the question, well, then I guess I don't need to have insurance. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Well, according, I think you have to eventually. But that's another story. But besides that, what does that really mean? It means that I surrender everything, and it doesn't mean that you don't have a bank account and save money, or you do, or you don't take a flu shot, or you do. It's not telling any of that. It's just mean I don't have to be the one deciding this, that I'm getting out of the way. I'm allowing the Spirit of love within me to show me where to go, what to do, what to say, do the insurance, not do the insurance. And I'm not doing it from a space of fear, but rather just trust and faith into the unfoldment and enlightenment of the highest and biggest picture. So as we end our time here together today, you know, think about it. Think about where maybe your grievances are an obstacle to your light, and know that there is in our spirit mind, in our oneness mind that Terry's song so beautifully expressed, that there is always resolution, and there is a way to find peace and oneness and connectedness. And we are ones we've been looking for. We are those people that are here now to be the light and to share the light and to live from that. So I am so thrilled to be back with you guys. You don't know, I really do miss you. And so it's great to be here. And we surrender, we place the future of the Namaste Center in the hands of God and know that all is well. And so it is. Namaste. Namaste.